What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? I'm pretty sure we're live here. Pretty sure. 30 seconds of a song you can play. Any song you want. Did you know that? Got a little Mumford & Sons bringing things in here. Ladies and gentlemen, book launch day is here. That's right. The moment you may or may not have been waiting for. Podcasts Suck. Now available in print. Print and Kindle. Yes, like a real book. So I'm really excited because this has been quite the labor of love, if you will. I started this process May 15th of this year. It was a good year to write a book, right? What else was going on? Not much, unfortunately. So I teamed up with my friends at Self Publishing School. Chandler Bolt and the team over there are just incredible. You may have seen some of my content. A couple months back, I had the distinct privilege of emceeing their live event, Author Advantage Live in Charlotte. It was a hybrid event. The attendees were virtual and the speakers were in person in a warehouse. So it was quite the experience. It was fun to see how things are starting to really shift in the direction of being able to facilitate things both remotely and in person. So I look forward to the days that live events do return. It is my passion to serve people with my energy, enthusiasm, and bow ties. Whether it's virtual or in person, I look forward to those days returning. But for now, we are in book launch mode right now. What that means is, well, I'm telling everybody and their brother about this book. The reason that I decided to start writing books, this is my second book. The first book was called Social Media Sucks If You Don't Know What You're Doing. I'm a storyteller by trade, and I feel that it's my responsibility to share the ideas and concepts that I learn about and I also create and execute on, like the Podcast Launch Lab. Not a lot of people have the opportunity to work with me one-on-one, or to actually hire an expert to walk them through the launch process. And there's more important, there's a lot of people out there that are do-it-yourselfers. And you say, listen, just tell me what to do and I'll go do it. Some people say, listen, just tell me what to do and help me do it and I'll do it. So we do both. So I wrote a book to talk about exactly what it takes to launch a podcast. So maybe you've been thinking about starting a podcast. Maybe you have considered it. Maybe you've actually picked out a name. You've done some work to actually get the podcast initiated, but you haven't quite got to the finish line. This book right here is going to help you get there. It is a step-by-step process. I walk you through every step of the way and talk about everything that we do here at the Podcast Launch Lab to help individuals go from idea to iTunes in 90 days or less. It's the end of 2020. It's been an absolute crazy year. Great for podcasting, not so much for the rest of the world. But there's been a lot of good too. I choose to focus on the good. Tony Robbins talks a lot about, what's wrong is always available. So is what is right. And I choose to focus on the positive, especially going to this new year. I think we're all hopeful that we're going to return to some sort of normalcy. This vaccine will get out and the world will start to operate again and people will travel and connect and, do life. But I also think that this year has been an opportunity for people to expand their horizons, if you will, to get out of their comfort zone. Maybe I stand corrected, to be forced out of their comfort zone. We're always told that everything we want in this world is right outside of our comfort zone, but do we ever actually get out of our comfort zone? That's the question. I read a quote on Sunday morning that I've heard before, but I obviously forgot about. And it rocked my cage. I was on my way to watch the sunrise, which I frequently do. I live in Miami, for crying out loud. If you're not at the beach for sunrise, you're missing out. By the way, it's free. It happens every day, God willing. But the quote says, are you happy or are you just really comfortable? And I thought, holy cow, that's a gut check quote right there. Are you happy or are you just really, really comfortable? I don't know about you, but I want to be able to maximize my time on this planet, and I want to be able to maximize the impact that I can make while I'm here. We're all just passing through. We've only got right now. That's why I was talking about when's the best time to start a podcast? Right now. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Speaking of my buddy Chandler Bolt, the founder and brains behind Self-Publishing School, he gave a few talks at Author Advantage Live. And one of the last ones that he gave, he told the story of losing his best friend 6 years ago, tragically, and what was created out of that loss. And that he learned in that instant that we must, not we should, we must live life with urgency, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. That was another gut-wrenching quote, or a bit of advice, if you will, that rattled my cage. It did. It stops you in your tracks to think, first of all, am I comfortable? Really comfortable? Or happy? And am I living life with urgency? That's the question. Am I doing as much as I can on a daily basis to make sure we're maximizing our time here? What are we doing to impact other people? Because that's what flips the switch right there. When you figure out how to do what you love by means of serving other people, it all starts to click. And that's what I've been able to discover over the past 4 years in launching the Podcast Launch Lab. It's not just service we're offering to people. We're enabling people to actually create their own vehicle to tell their story, to impact others, to grow their brand, to grow their business, to change their lives, to impact their family. This is called doing work that matters. I had a mentor tell me about 5 years ago that money is a byproduct of doing what you love. Another gut-wrenching bit of advice that I got. But it really got me thinking. I thought, wow. I was in this scarcity mindset. I had a lot of personal development work that I'd not done. Scarcity mindset. That's generational, you know. I had to break, and it's your responsibility. I've talked about this before on Facebook. It's your responsibility to break those generational curses and create new patterns for generations to come, your kids, their kids, etc. But the world of podcasting is not slowing down by any stretch of the imagination. I know that I'm in the right lane because I've got a lot of pushback this year about the world of podcasting. Is it oversaturated? Is it too late to start a podcast? No, it's not too late to start a podcast. You know why? Because you haven't started one. Well, what about if everyone starts a podcast? Well, you're not everyone. You're you. Your community is yours because you're you. That's right. Anytime somebody tells me, hey, I know someone who does exactly what you do. And I said, no, you don't. And they said, what do you mean? They sure do. I said, they're not Sebastian Rusk, right? Be you. Everyone else is taken. The book, 11 chapters of step-by-step goodness. And it's also a good dose of encouragement too. And we do a little personal development conversation in here too, as far as mindset is concerned. We talk about things like procrastination. We talk about things like doing work that matters, figuring out your why your why is important. But that's a tongue twister. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. Why is your why important? As funny as that may sound, it's very, very important. So a lot of you have been involved with the book launch team. If you're watching this right now, I just want to let you know that I appreciate each and every one of you. I think we had about 105 people on the team. That was mind-blowing in and of itself. The goal of the book launch team was to get an advanced e-copy and give a quick review of the book, and then be able to leave an honest review on Amazon to help jumpstart things out of the gates as we launch the book this past Sunday. So the reason I didn't go live on Sunday is, well, it was Sunday and, NFL and, family time. But we did launch the book on Sunday. Got everything submitted. And, there's always something that pops up and happens. It was like a week and a half ago. I get the book back. 27 typos. This thing's been edited, proofed, edited, D, all the above. So there's always something there, but I'm glad we got everything resolved and squared with the editing process. We got everything done. The book is available exclusively through Amazon, both Kindle. If you got Kindle Unlimited, the book's free. I'll just throw it out there. If you don't have Kindle Unlimited, you can sign up for Kindle Unlimited, and I'm sure they'll give you a free book. Or you can just buy the book for 99 cents. Now, if you haven't spent $50 on Amazon, well, you probably don't have a pulse these days. That is the only requirement to be able to buy the book and leave an honest review. So if you haven't done so, I'm going to leave a link in the comments below that are going to allow you to go right to Amazon and grab your copy. Or you can just go to Amazon, type in Podcast Suck. You got the option for print, and you've got the option for Kindle. So the choice is entirely yours. Some people are Kindle people. I'm active. I've had a couple questions too about the audiobook. I'm actively working on that right now. That will be out soon. That's a process of me recording me reading my book to myself. So once I get that done, I get that over to my editing team and they format it and make it sound like it should and organize it so that it turns into an audiobook. And then that will be available in Audible too. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to doing that because one of the very first books I read when starting my brand some almost 11 years ago from my good friend Gary Vaynerchuk in his first book, Crush It. And he had the audio version. And I know because I borrowed somebody else's Audible login to download that book onto my iPod, not to be confused with an iPad or an iPhone. That was an iPod. And it was so convenient and small too, but there wasn't as much, flair and options. My phone has so many things to tell me. But I remember that Gary read the book, but he would also go off on tangents. Now, I'm not going to go off on too many tangents, but it's kind of cool to be like, you read through a specific chapter and you're like, so the reason that I wrote what I wrote right there was because, and I look forward to going off on little tangents, not too crazy, but yeah, audio is kind of good. Some people don't read books, but they listen to books. I don't know if that's really reading. I think that's listening. Maybe it's listening, reading. I'm not really sure, but in any event, pull up your Amazon app. It's probably already open or in your browser, type in Amazon.com. And on the search bar, type in Podcast Suck. That's going to take you directly to the page to buy either the Kindle version or the print version. Mine says not for resale because this is what's called a stock author copy. And they send these to you as a proof just to make sure that the formatting and everything is copacetic and everything looks good and feels good. And we're totally there. I'm really proud of this. I'm really, really, really proud of this book. I can't believe that I actually did it. Oddly enough, I don't have it close to me. It's on the other side of the studio here. By the way, we moved into a brand new studio last week. Podcast Launch Lab, got some new digs going into 2021. I'm really excited about it. I can't show you yet because I'm not quite done. I got some minor details that I need to polish up before we make the grand introduction. But the brick's here. The mic's here. We're ready to record. We're ready to rock and roll with all of this. All right, I got to run, but I just wanted to say hello and thank everybody that's supported the book launch process so far. The book launch team, those of you that have purchased a copy, a lot of you have asked for the print copy. The good news is the print copy is now available. If you're watching this right now and you're thinking, you know what, I would love to have Sebastian talk more about podcasting to my team, my sales team, my marketing team, my team, whatever it might be. Let's have a conversation because I have a program specifically designed where everybody gets able to get a copy of the book. I can come give a talk, do a Q&A, do some tactical stuff as far as, what it looks like for, podcasts. Again, I don't know what that looks like till we get into it, but it's an option. If you're like, I'd love to have him come talk to my group. I'm doing a couple of those here before the end of the year that I'm really looking forward to. So everyone wants to know about podcasting. I'm going to get up there and help everybody understand exactly what's going on with podcasting, answer a bunch of questions, give away some books, and it's going to be a good time. So if you're looking to do anything like that with your organization, feel free to slide into the DMs, shoot me a message. Do you have any comments coming in here? Of course, my mom leaves me a comment. Good old mom. Look at this. Congratulations on the new book and the new office. So deserving. Good old mom. Thanks, Suze. All right, I got a jam and rock and roll. Amazon.com. Type in Podcast Suck. Grab a Kindle copy, a print copy. These make great gifts. It's 11 chapters, about 168 pages. It's a nice book. It's like feels more of a book than the first one. I'm really excited about it. So it's hard to explain there. If you've got questions about starting a podcast or the book or me talking to your group or organization about podcasting and storytelling, be more than happy to chat with you about that. You can get on my calendar by going to podcastlaunchlabnow.com. That's podcastlaunchlabnow.com. And you can schedule a time that works for you. And we'll sit down, have a short conversation about what your ideas are, and we'll figure out whether or not you're a fit to take on as far as a new show here at the Podcast Launch Lab. So any questions, thoughts, ideas, concerns, feel free to leave a comment below here. I appreciate you tuning in. I don't know if it's YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, but I appreciate you. And the book is live. Podcasts suck if you don't have one. So you need a copy of this, and your friends do too, and family members and people. I have people all the time going, I'm going to buy that a copy for so-and-so because they're thinking about starting a podcast, and get a lot of calls from attorneys too. So if you're an attorney and you're watching this, you should think about starting a podcast. I'm getting a lot of calls from attorneys lately that want to start a podcast. I'm really excited about that. So be good. Hope all is well with everyone here. We are winding down 2020, and we're doing it with a book launch, baby. You can wind 2020 down by launching a podcast. Did you know that? Because this time next year, if you start a podcast right now, this time next year, you will be so amped that you did. The show will have had the opportunity to grow, to expand, new connections, new relationships. The world's your oyster when you create content and start a podcast. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support with the book. Go grab your copy right now, Amazon.com. Type in Podcast Suck, or you can go to podcastsuck.com. That'll bring you right to Amazon too. In any event, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will talk with you soon.